Hello, everyone. I am, um, well, I would tell you, but I haven't decided on a name yet. So today I'm on the National Library of Medicine, and I will be reading a research paper on health benefits and chemical composition of matcha green tea, a review by Joanna Kochman, Carolina, Carolina Jakubsk, oh boy, Justinia, um, Honorata, and Katarzyna. As you can tell, I'm going to have a lot of trouble pronouncing a lot of things in here. Um, so why am I reading a research paper about matcha green tea? Well, because I was drinking some matcha green tea this morning, and because I want to expand my knowledge on just things in general. Every now and then, in my free time, I'll sit down and read like a research paper on something that I'm interested in that day, just to learn a thing or two. Um, I hope to keep on doing this in the future, and if I do cover any controversial papers, I would just like to say they don't always reflect my personal opinions. I read these simply to learn new things, and if I disagree with them, I like to learn things that I disagree with. Um, so, with science and these articles, they are peer reviewed to some extent, but there can always be a case where sometime in the future more articles come out and more research comes out to contradict the findings that we go over. Anyways, this is primarily for fun, so don't take it too seriously. Um, do your own research if you need to look into some things of your own. But I think it is safe to say that matcha green tea is fairly healthy compared to other things like soda. Compared to coffee, I can't entirely say. You can have an opinion, but that doesn't necessarily make it correct. So I'll try to refrain from stating too many of my opinions just to not influence things too heavily. So we'll let the science speak for itself. I haven't reviewed the article ahead of time, so I really don't know what's in here. Um, but I'm looking forward to just learning about matcha green tea. Another thing is I'm trying to practice my reading comprehension and just reading skills. So let's see if I can do this as smoothly as possible. Take a sip of my water. It's getting ice chilled currently by the outdoor weather. So sorry if it's a bit noisy right now. But let's get started, shall we? So the abstract. Japanese matcha is a type of powdered tea, green tea, grown in a traditional way. Shading of the plants during the growth period enhances the process of synthesis and accumulation of biologically active compounds, including theanine, caffeine, chlorophyll, and various types of catechins. Green tea contains four main catechins, i.e. EC, ECG, EGC, and EGCG, of which the latter is the most active and abundant, and matcha is their best condensed source. Due to its unique chemical composition and prized flavor, which sets it apart from other tea beverages, it is considered the highest quality tea. Its health-promoting properties are attributed to the high content of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory substances. Studies confirming the high antioxidant potential of tea beverages claim that it originates from the considerable content of catechins, a type of phenolic compound with beneficial effects on human health. Due to its potential for preventing many diseases and supporting cognitive function, regular consumption of matcha may have positive effects on both physical and mental health. The aim of this review was to compile the health benefits of matcha tea. It is the first such review to be undertaken and presents its main bioactive compounds in a systematic manner. So I'm really looking forward to learning about some antioxidants. And is it phenolic? Alright, introduction. Tea is one of the most consumed beverages, second only to water, in many societies. Its distinctive flavor, aroma, and health-promoting effects are highly valued around the world, as are its socio-cultural connotations. Green tea is available in many variants, in the form of loose leaves, packaged in tea bags, or powdered. Matcha is a powdered type of green tea, Japanese green tea, Camellia sinensis. Camellia sinensis, also just an aside, is also what makes up a lot of the other teas, such as black tea, white tea, oolong tea, and green tea. Anyways, of the tencha variety. The popular beverage has been growing around the world. It is particularly rich in antioxidant compounds as a result of the special cultivation method. I believe this is a reference to the shading and some other things. According to the traditional method, for the majority of the growth period, the tea bushes are covered using bamboo mats to shade the leaves from excessive direct sunlight. In the course of this process, plants are able to produce higher amounts of amino acids and bioactive compounds, including chlorophyll and theanine, responsible for the unique, non-bitter taste and the characteristic, vibrant color matcha. As a result, matcha is highly valued for its quality and regarded as the most aromatic green tea. 2. Chemical composition of Japanese matcha green tea. The health benefits of green tea arise from the presence of natural antioxidants, such as polyphenols, a wide range of compounds accounting for as much as 30% of the dry weight of green tea. Polyphenols are believed to be exceptionally powerful antioxidants, with effects comparable to those of vitamins, such as vitamin C and E, carotene, and tocopherol. The amount of health-promoting active substances contained in tea beverages depend on the type of tea, the amount of tea leaves per portion, brewing temperature, and time. 2.1 Contents of catechins. Studies confirming its high antioxidant potential of tea beverages claim that it originates from the considerable content of catechins, a type of phenolic compound with beneficial effects on human health. Green tea contains four main catechins: EC, ECG, EGC, and EGCG, of which the latter is the most active and abundant. If this sounds familiar, this was from the abstract. So yeah, a bit of deja vu there. Anyways, high polyphenolic content has a greater capacity for scavenging free radicals than vitamin C on its own. Phenolic compounds occur naturally in the leaves of Camellia sinensis. Matcha may therefore be described as a major source of catechins in a daily human diet. EGCG, EGC, ECG, and epicatechin are the main active compounds of the catechin type, and are therefore present in the highest amount in plant products. Catechins derived from the tea demonstrate outstanding antioxidant activity due to their ability to neutralize free radicals and boost the detoxification activity of enzymes, including glutathione, peroxidase, catalase, and glutathione reductase. Gurzik reported that catechins have a greater antioxidant capacity than glutathione, vitamin C, and flavonoids, which attests to their key role in maintaining cellular redox homeostasis. According to the study by Kalekova, the total polyphenolic content found in matcha tea falls within the range of 169 to 273 milligrams per GAE per gram. I'm not 100% sure on what that metric is. However, Nishitani and Seishaka observed a lower polyphenol content in matcha than in other green teas, referring to another study. It was then suggested that such a result may be due to the shading of tea plants, which inhibits polyphenol synthesis. Nevertheless, catechin content in green teas is much higher than in black teas, amounting to 5.46 to 7.44 milligrams per gram, compared with 0 to 3.47 milligrams per gram in black tea. So here they're comparing two different studies. They have reference numbers to them individually. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to go and research these other studies, but they're saying in one study the polyphenolic content in matcha was higher compared to another study, but also suggests that this was due to the growth process of those teas, suggesting that different types of growth leads to different amounts of antioxidants in the plants. 2.2 Contents of caffeine. Caffeine is an essential component of tea beverages and is responsible for their distinctive and desirable taste. At the same time, it is a powerful antioxidant, adding to the antioxidant potential of the beverage. Its levels may be associated with the time of harvest and age of leaves. The older the leaves, the lower the caffeine content. Interesting. Older the leaves, the lower the caffeine content. So it loses caffeine over time. Caffeine content also depends on tea variety, weather conditions during vegetation, as well as the brewing method. The effects of caffeine are rooted in its antioxidant potential, neutralizing reactive oxygen species and enhancing antioxidant enzyme activity and glutathione levels. In regular doses, caffeine may reduce persistent oxidative stress, bringing down the prevalence of free radical mediated diseases. Additionally, caffeine may inhibit the secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines, demonstrating anti-inflammatory effects. Matcha has a relatively high caffeine content compared to other green teas, which gives it a unique aroma and flavor. The content of caffeine in green tea was found to fall within the range of 11.3 to 24.67 milligrams per gram, while in matcha it amounted in between 18.9 and 44.4 milligrams per gram. For the sake of comparison, the most coffee beans will contain 10 to 12 milligrams of caffeine per gram of beans, meaning matcha per milligram per gram has a higher caffeine content than beans, which is interesting. But I assume the average cup of coffee has more caffeine because it's more concentrated. That's just my guess. It's quite high caffeine content for matcha. 2.3 Content of phenolic acids. Phenolic acids are secondary plant metabolites characterized by high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory potential. In addition to neuroprotective and hypoglycemic effects, they also have been reported to inhibit cancer cell growth and prevent metastasis. I know some people say metastasis, but I've heard it said as metastasis. Some phenolic acids, through modulating lipid and carbohydrate metabolism, may support the regulation of metabolic disorders. One of the most common compounds from this group found in foodstuffs is chlorogenic acid. In a study by Kolakova, the total content of phenolics in alcoholic extracts was determined to reach up to 273 milligrams per GAE per gram. Detailed analysis revealed the following maximum levels of phenolic acids in matcha tea samples, differing in terms of various criteria, including origin. Gallic acid was in 423 micrograms per gram. Hydroxybenzoic acid, 243 micrograms per gram. Chlorogenic acid, 4,800 micrograms per gram. Caffeic acid, 223 micrograms per gram. Ferulic acid, 289 micrograms per gram. And ellagic acid, 371 micrograms per gram. So I'm just checking how much more we have left. And we have quite a bit. Sorry, I might skip through. Actually, okay. Well, let's just. How long are we at? We're at 15 minutes. We'll keep going. Content of rutin 2.4. Rutin, which is a polyphenolic compound, is a potent antioxidant. Its synergistic interaction with ascorbic acid may enhance the protective effects of both substances in the cardiovascular system, strengthening blood vessels. It also has an anti-diabetic and anti-inflammatory properties, thus preventing diabetes-related pathologies. Its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory action offers potential for preventing conditions of free radical or inflammatory origin, including neurodegenerative conditions. According to Jaku, matcha green tea has an exceptionally high rutin content compared to other teas available in the market. The authors contrasted the level of rutin found in matcha, 1,968.8 milligrams per liter, with that in buckwheat, 62.3 milligrams per 100 grams. The latter being recognized as one of the richest sources of rutin in the human diet, and demonstrated that matcha tea may be a better source of the compound than other foodstuffs. The findings by Jaku et al. Appeared to be consistent with the observations of Kalikova. 2.5 Content of quercetin. Quercetin is a phytochemical with antioxidant and neuroprotective activity. Additionally, it was observed to normalize carbohydrate metabolism by inhibiting glucose absorption from the gastrointestinal tract, regulating insulin secretion and improving insulin sensitivity in tissues. What is more, the combination of quercetin with EGCG may enhance the anti-carcinogenic effects of both. The content of quercetin and the aqueous effects of matcha was measured by Schroeder et al. At 1.2 milligrams per milliliter, which is marginally better than in traditional green tea at 1.1 milligrams per milliliter. On the other hand, Kolakova determined quercetin levels in alcoholic extracts reaching up to 17.2 micrograms per gram. 2.6 Content of vitamin C. Vitamin C is a powerful exogenous antioxidant. Due to its properties, it enhances the immune defense of the body. It is an essential micronutrient in human nutrition which should be supplied every day in adequate amounts. Jaku demonstrated that infusions of matcha tea contains 32.12 to 48.8 milligrams per liter of vitamin C, depending on the temperature of the water used to prepare the infusion of the type of tea. In the study by Kalikova et al., matcha was found to contain more than double the amount of vitamin C of other green teas. Its content was determined at 1.63 to 3.98 milligrams per gram, depending on the type of product and its origin. 2.7 Content of chlorophyll. Thanks to shade growing, matcha tea has increased chlorophyll content, which is responsible for its unique, vibrant color. Chlorophyll and its derivatives exhibit strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. The levels of bioactive compounds, including chlorophyll, in the Matcha type tea leaves, which are used specifically for matcha, were determined by Ku. The levels of chlorophyll in Matcha leaves was higher than in traditional green tea, amounting to 5.65 milligrams per gram and 4.33 milligrams per gram, respectively. 2.8 Content of theanine. Theanine is an amino acid in the tea plant Camellia sinensis. Due to the shade growing of plants intended for matcha production, theanine does not break down. As a result, Matcha leaves contain larger amounts of it compared to other teas. The relatively high theanine content in matcha tea is responsible for its unique, non-bitter taste, and in combination with caffeine provides the taste sensation and umami characteristic of this type of tea. The combination of L-theanine and caffeine may enhance concentration, vigilance, and efficiency to a higher extent than the use of other compound alone, additionally alleviating stress. According to Kaneko, the the content of L-theanine in matcha tea infuses to amount to 6.1 milligrams per liter, while Uno found as much as 44.65 milligrams per gram of that compound in matcha tea samples. A summary of health-promoting properties of the main bioactive compounds of matcha tea, green tea is presented. And here is a figure pointing to different parts of the body and their benefits. Just looking through and kind of summarize, it has positive benefits in the brain, in your insulin secretion, in your digestive tract, in your liver, and in your heart. In the brain, it boosts cognitive function, I assume through the L-theanine, reduces oxidative stress, reduces stress, improves memory, reduces glucose and lipid absorption, reduces tumor growth factors and angiogenesis, and reduces inflammation. And that is just a few of the listed benefits. Number 3, parameters affecting chemical composition. One parameter which has significant effect on the chemical composition and health-promoting properties of a tea beverage is the temperature of the water used to make the infusion. This is related to the extraction of biologically active compounds and higher kinetic energy in tea brewed at a higher temperature. Personally, I usually try to aim for like 160 degrees Fahrenheit, but I might have to aim for a little bit more. But let's see what the article has to say. Sorry, the paper has to say. The distinctly high antioxidant potential of matcha can also be attributed to the grinding process and ultimately the powdered form. Fujioka demonstrated the infusions made by steeping tea leaves have a lower polyphenol content than those made from the powdered form. Thus, the grinding process itself may accelerate the extraction of polyphenolic compounds. Sorry, just drinking more water. Shishikura and Kokar observed, taking into account the average time it takes to prepare the tea, that its powdered form is more effective and active in terms of the extraction in a relatively shorter time, about a minute, and therefore seems to be a better choice. Combs examined 11 green teas differing in terms of manufacturing processes and form, including bagged loose tea and powdered tea. Matcha brewed at 3 temperatures, 60, 80, and 100 degrees Celsius, and over different durations. 3, 5, 10, 15, and 30 minutes. The scholars measured the impact of leaf fragmentation, form of product, brewing time, and temperature of phenolic content and antioxidant capacity, determined using different methods, DPPH, FRAP, and ABTS. In all green teas, antioxidant capacity increased altogether with the temperature of the water used to prepare the infusion, and the optimal values were observed at the highest temperature with a 3-minute brew time. It was concluded that the antioxidant potential of green teas increases proportionally to its phenolic content. Additionally, the powdered form had the highest parameters of all the green teas, and the required extraction time was the shortest. Extending the brewing time of powdered matcha did not increase the antioxidant capacity. The content of health-promoting substances, including polyphenols, is also reduced by agroclimatic conditions during growth, such as the number and distribution of sunny and rainy days, fertilization, and plant protection measures, if any, etc. Okay, so brew at about 100 degrees Celsius for about 3 minutes is what it's suggesting. I've heard for the taste-wise, sometimes you want to go for a lower temperature, just so you don't burn the tea. But it's also suggesting that higher temperatures help increase the antioxidant extraction. Interesting. All right. 4. Health-promoting properties. Anti-carcinogenic effects. 4.1. The anti-carcinogenic properties of green tea and its key ingredient, EGCG, have been thoroughly researched by scholars from around the globe. The mechanisms behind the anti-cancer effect of EGCG may be related to inhibiting tumor angiogenesis, antioxidant effects, and suppressing the inflammatory processes contributing to transformation. Also, hyperproliferation and initiation of carcinogenesis. Carcinogenesis, I believe, has something to do with relating to cancer, because a carcinogen is something that causes cancer. That's just my own personal knowledge. The pathogenesis and progression of colorectal cancer is significantly affected by healthy diet and lifestyle. Obesity, especially of the visceral type, as a consequence of long-standing unhealthy lifestyle choices, increases the risk of developing gastrointestinal cancer. Consuming large amounts of EGCG may contribute to reducing the incidence of colorectal cancer, partly due to inhibiting tumor growth factors. What is more, EGCG is capable of inhibiting growth and inducing apoptosis of cancer cells. I'm going to make a guess. I remember seeing apoptosis in biology class. That might be the killing of cancer cells. Like, is that the thing where they literally pop the cancer cell by flooding it? I don't remember. You have to fact check me on that. Improving tissue sensitivity to insulin and leptin and reducing blood leptin parameters may inhibit obesity-related carcinogenesis. Supplementation of green tea extracts may additionally prevent recurring adenomas, which is the majority of cases may evolve into colorectal cancers. Research findings regarding EGCG supplementation also include inhibition of growth and proliferation of gallbladder and bile duct cancer cells, as well as a decreased risk of biliary duct cancer. Catechins act synergistically with anti-cancer medications and can be used to support therapy as well as in cancer prevention. Vitamin C has also been associated with protective effects against cancer. 4.2 Anti-inflammatory effects. Inflammatory response is part and parcel of many diseases. It may lead to the production of excessive amounts of substances promoting the production of reactive oxygen species, ROS, which can damage cell structures and lead to a long-term disruption in the functioning of the body as a whole, as well as signaling functioning functions promoting inflammation. The main effect of anti-inflammatory and antioxidant substances is to inhibit signaling in the anti-inflammatory process by scavenging ROS. Supplementation of EGCG, the main bioactive component of green tea, may alleviate complications of the inflammatory process arising after the use of cardiopulmonary bypass for major cardiac surgery, including lung surgery and dysfunction. By regulating the inflammatory condition, EGCG may also helps reduce the susceptibility to gallstone formation. Arterial hypertension is controlled by multiple genes, with inflammation and vascular remodeling implicated in the pathogenesis of this condition. Consumption of green tea beverages with a high content of bioactive compounds regulating inflammatory processes attenuates to the development of hepatitis by suppressing gene and protein expression of inflammatory cytokines. 4.3 Cardioprotective effects. Cigarette smoking is recognized as one of the main risk factors for cardiovascular diseases. In an experiment with an animal model, rats were exposed to cigarette smoke with simultaneous oral administrations of EGCG. Upon exposure to smoking, the markers for myocardial injury and lipid anomalies were elevated. Administration of EGCG reversed these aberrations. The findings from that study suggest that antioxidant EGCG may exert a protective effect on the heart muscle by preventing cardiac inflammatory changes via reducing oxidative stress. EGCG may potentially exert a protective effect on the heart muscle in patients undergoing surgery who are susceptible to ischemic injury by inhibiting the activation of stress-activated protein kinase and signaling pathways inducing the inflammatory response. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just reviewing really quick the anti-inflammatory effects. ROS. Okay. Because it's just from my understanding that anti-inflammatories are extremely beneficial to health because a lot of injuries are inflammatory in nature. Okay. 4.4. Antiviral properties. The immunomodularity properties of green tea and its antiviral effect may support the prevention and regulate immune response in infectious diseases, including COVID-19. There are many studies on the antiviral properties of green tea. However, they are mostly based on reports about traditional green tea. The mechanism of action and specific properties of matcha green tea are still unknown and equated with general reports on green tea, despite the different compositions and ratio of bioactive compounds. However, in one of the few studies, Ogatani demonstrated that matcha green tea may have antiviral activity by inactivating SARS-CoV-2, which is a promising report, but requires more detailed research. Documented potential properties and probable mechanism of action of green tea compounds are presented in Table 1. One of the interesting things is catechins can inhibit COVID-19 and structural proteins. Interesting. Okay. Almost there. This is the most I've read in a very long time. So, sorry if I'm sounding a bit exacerbated currently. My reading muscles appreciate the practice, though. So it is also 1 a.m. So, okay. 4.5. Potential for regulating carbohydrate metabolism. The effects of catechins and other polyphenolics on the parameters of carbohydrate metabolism show their hypoglycemic action. Matcha may help lower blood glucose levels, and its EGCG content may inhibit starch digestion, thus minimizing the sudden release of glucose in the gastrointestinal tract. EGCG may present capacity for inhibiting gluconeogenesis and the absorption of lipids and glucose from the gastrointestinal tract, as well as improving insulin activity. 4.6. Improvement of cognitive function, prevention of neurodegenerative disorders. Consumption of green tea is regarded as an effective dietary intervention to promote clarity of mind and cognitive function. These health benefits are attributed mainly to epoglycatechin gallate, EGCG. Cognitive function tends to deteriorate with age in a manner dependent on environmental factors, including lifestyle. Regular dietary intake of caffeine may reduce the risk of cognitive decline in women, and its effect increases with age. What about men? By reversing oxidative processes and reducing neuroinflammation, caffeine may indirectly inhibit aging of the brain, and in this way maintain its normal function. Oxidative stress, which is capable of inducing neuronal damage, may induce memory impairment. Caffeine supplementation with its anti-inflammatory effects, chiefly in the hippocampus, may prevent the development of this disorder. Sorry, I think my matcha tea is wearing off. The positive effects of caffeine on the nervous system and preventing neurodegenerative diseases are closely related to the decreased deposition of amyloid B in the brain. Is it amyloid beta? Systemic inflammation-induced LPS plays a key role in neurodegenerative diseases. EGCG prohibits LPS-induced production of reactive oxygen species, suggesting that EGCG is a potent and effective neuroprotective agent in neurological disorders mediated by inflammation. EGCG intake enhances cognitive function, improves insulin sensitivity, and decreases amyloid B production in the brain, thus reducing neuroinflammation and preventing pathologies, preventing neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's disease. The last two paragraphs here. 4.7 Prospects. Matcha green tea, due to its unique composition of bioactive compounds, offers a wide range of potential health benefits as presented in Table 2. It contains high concentrations of phenolic acids, quercetin, rutin, theanine, and chlorophyll, exceeding those in other green tea varieties. It is a relatively new and unknown product which cannot be identified with traditional green tea. It is a separate tea variety with distinct properties. Its infusions and extracts may find potential applications in preventing lifestyle diseases of free radical and inflammatory origin, as well as in preventing premature aging processes. Matcha tea, thanks to its powdered form, may make for an easy-to-use food additive. Unfortunately, the direct impact and mechanisms responsible for the properties of matcha tea have not been sufficiently explored. Hence, many of the potential aspects of its activity, its interactions with essential microflora, and impact on infectious diseases require further study. It seems necessary to carry out more extensive research, including a detailed examination of the chemical composition of matcha tea. Studies with the use of the cell lines and animal models, and randomized clinical trials, RCT, to confirm the hypothesized beneficial effects of matcha tea on human health. And in Table 2, here's a list of the many benefits of matcha tea. And there's a long list. Conclusions. 5. The Japanese powdered green tea matcha contains high amounts of substances with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. It has promising potential health benefits, mainly through a high concentration of catechins. With regular consumption, it may support the body's efforts to maintain health and prevent disease. Research into the effects of matcha drinking and its individual components in a specific disease and entities is still valid and needed. The current state of knowledge only covers some of the health-promoting properties of the tea. To confirm the validity of implementing recommendations for increased consumption of tea beverages made from matcha, it will be necessary to undertake deeper and broader analysis of its effect on the human body. It says there are no conflicts of interest, and the project is financed under the program of the Minister of Science and Higher Education. And this was in 2019 to 2022. And there's a series of many references, at least 99 references. Couldn't quite break the 100 references mark. Alright, well, that was an article on the health benefits of the chemical composition of matcha green tea. I think it is safe to say you guys should drink more green tea, because it seems to be good for you, but as concluded, it does need more research. Alright, so thank you very much for listening. If you have any more recommendations for articles to read, please let me know. Wow. I did not think I was going to sit down for 40 minutes and just read this article out loud at 1 a.m., but here we are. Alright, now I must begin the walk home, and I am ready for some sleep. So hopefully you guys are as well, and hopefully I bored you enough to put you to sleep already. Alright, well, good night, you guys, or goodbye, good morning, good afternoon. I don't know, whatever time of day you're watching this. Um, yeah, I don't have an outro yet, so good night, and see you next time. Thanks.